It does video recording,
Right.
This meeting is being recorded.
audio recording, and it creates a transcript of everything anybody says.
Uh-oh.
Oh, right.
Wait a minute.
It's wild. It's the first time I just learned about it this afternoon, so I've never used it. But if you give me permission, I'm going to just try it and play with it. It also gives me the ability to do highlights and make action notes, and it'll give me a summary, an AI generated summary after the end of the call. And it could be either really scary or really fascinating, or maybe both.
I was going to say, between you, the universe, Big Brother, wait.
Well, it won't go anywhere but right here. So, but I do need to ask your permission to try it. So, permission granted, thumb up, or you want me to turn it off? I'll just turn it off. Thumb up. You're okay?
Trusting you researched it, so.
Well, I had a Akashic record reading today, and she used it, and I'm like, what? And it's an app. It's a free app on Zoom.
Okay.
Zoom did transcripts anyway.
I've only ever gotten transcripts of the chat, not transcripts of our audio.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, so it is the 5th of September, the first Monday of the month, and we are in Quantum Burst practicing or trying out this Fathom thing. I don't know that it'll be useful for our group necessarily, but we'll see. We'll play with it. And I promise you it won't go anywhere beyond us. So, all right, so how are you? Happy Labor Day weekend. What's happening? Where are you? What's going on? All that fun stuff to get us started. Checking in.
Here's somebody knocking on the
Pushed the
door.
wrong button. Took me off. So, Steve, are you starting? I'm started.
No.
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 I just thought I'd go because I've been running around. What's that expression? Like a chicken with my head cut off most of the day. Just got to do this, and so glad to be here and sort of settle in a little bit and one of the things I've been noticing is about the focus of gratitude and how that works. I've been battling a bit of self-judgment, I guess, about what I was going to say that I forgot was depression. I'm really was noting all day how I was feeling a lot of old feelings, and but I would just remind myself about that was then, and I can be in a new place. All I have to do is change my thoughts. and so it was sort of fun to play with it, because I was like, oh, there you go again. So that's a quickie update.
So were you able to pivot it, to shift it when you noticed?
Pretty much. Yeah, it took me a long time, like this morning, to come around to remember that. But once I remembered it, then I was able to bring it back faster and faster.
Beautiful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Cool. Yay. Next.
Is everybody done? Okay, all right, I'll jump in. And if anybody saw my post, I love holiday weekends. I'll just say this. Steve and I have a notorious pattern of never being able, other than Thanksgiving or some of the ones that are kind of predetermined, to do holiday weekends. It's not new. It has nothing to do with my hip and my whatever. It is just us. lots of good reasons. Don't want to get on the road. Don't want to travel I-35. We don't want to go where all the crowds are. Blah, 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 blah. And then at some point during that weekend, I always start to feel so utterly disappointed that I can't hardly stand myself. So he started at the beginning of this weekend because unexpectedly his manager gave him on Friday off. And he ended up having to work part of it, but he didn't have to take a vacation day, which he was going to take anyway. Not that we were doing anything, he just wanted off. So he started saying, well, what do we need to do? And what do we want to think about doing? And I go, okay, it's 4 hours to the beach. I can ride for 4 hours. Well, he wanted to go someplace cool. Next thing he's looking at Cloudcroft, New Mexico, 9.5 hours straight drive time, not stopping to get out and whatever. And I go, and then we're going to have to stop St. Angelo, some, little whatever places in between. And finally I looked at him and I said, we are so not doing this. We're not doing this. We've been together like 33, 34 years, whatever it is now. And I said, this is a pattern that I need to not participate anymore. Stop it. Just stop it. We're not going to go anywhere. We're going to do whatever we want to do this weekend. And we're not going to get to Monday and then say, oh, I wish we had done whatever. So I just referred to it as our do nothing weekend. And we did nothing. We didn't make ourselves go find entertainment. He went to a movie one day and that works for me. It's not my thing. And I don't feel bad when he goes. I enjoy my time. So, but we just, did nothing. We played Roomy Cube when we couldn't stand sitting and watching TV anymore. We got games out, like little kids having to entertain themselves. But it was so freeing in many ways to say, I'm really choosy. It's not a default that we don't go somewhere. And it was I'm choosing. Yeah, were there little moments in there? I go, what a waste. It's too bad I had to waste this time because there's 4 days in my old work pattern. You always take off. Well, I don't have to do that now. So anyway, that was a very freeing moment for me. That's my experience. I don't know what somebody else's was, but additionally, this had to do with a little bit with what Linda mentioned is that, well, I can get very down during those times. So my sister and I were talking on the Thursday before and we were talking about some of our family patterns, and we don't know why, but my brother and she and I all have, as do many, have this bizarre sense of humor. I mean, we're just weird. We used to make my poor mom crazy. She'd say, I could take 2 of you at a time, but I cannot take 3 of you. You can't all come home at one time. And we just we're dry. The only people we crack up are ourselves. We are so freaking entertaining to ourselves and to each other and we got dry senses of humor. Like me, if I'm trying to call my mother and she, when she was alive and she wouldn't answer, and my brother she'd say something about, well, that's usually how she tries to get a message to people that she doesn't want to talk to him, or he'll say just something idiotic, Well, my sister and I were then talking about holidays and whatever, and talking about how there's also in our family history, it's a low level, and it took us a while to come, called melancholy. So it can feel like depression. The depression and melancholy are they may but they're different. And she's talking about, Abraham Lincoln, or, and his could have been depression at the time, but he had this melancholy. It just kind of ran deep in his bones. And we were going through some of our family history of what happened to older generations. Okay, that's just something that seems to run in our systems. And we found all ways to counter. And then I looked at her and I said, you know what? You know what our sense of humor is about? That's our antidote. That's our antidote to this vein, this I call it the Swedish Nordic dark nights, whatever you want to call it. And it's our antidote. And my sister's very, self-aware. And she just went for a minute, she goes, I've never thought of it that way. And I said, well, how much thought do you think I gave it before I said it? And we looked at it and we realized, now humor can be used to do a lot of not positive things. But the other was, I said, it's an antidote to us taking ourselves way too seriously. And she says, nobody has more fun with the things that I say. she said, than myself. She said, I put myself up and I go, oh my God. So there we are having this profound conversation about our family characteristics instead of talking about all the stuff that you want to heal and overcome. We just had this moment of awareness. It's only probably important to people who have any of these traits in their family. So anyway, that was, and one last thing, some of you know that my grandson, is going through his, I don't even know if he's dealing with anything as much as we are, but he had gone somewhere with a friend of Holly's and her little girl this weekend. And the woman said to him at some point, well, that's not a very ladylike thing to do, because she knows what he thinks about identifying as. And he was just blown by that. And Holly's telling it to me this morning. And she says, Mom, she can just be very abrupt. She's not very tactful in how she says it. And I just started to laugh. I know this is horrible, but I said, oh my God, I can't even explain to you how grateful I am it's you and not me. You have both the son you wanted and the daughter that you've always wanted, and they're wrapped up into one, and it's a teenager. And she goes, Mom, tell me about it. And I said, I know I shouldn't be laughing at your moment in time. And she goes, you're really not always very helpful. You do know that, don't you? I said, well, there's that. So anyway, humor at its worst. Okay, thanks.
Very fun.
Sometimes you just can't find the button. Button, who's got the button? Is Nancy's talking? I didn't hear her.
Nancy's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can't top that.
Well,
I mean, for me, having 4 days off in a row was just absolute bliss. Didn't have to do any project plans, didn't have any phone calls to make. It was just really kind of cool. I thought we had some nice conversations. We had good coffee, good scones, our typical breakfast tacos, which, it's our routine. But so it was just some time for me to feel like we were kind of reconnecting that I don't get to do during the week very often. We got some walks in during the hottest part of the day, so we seem to do that.
walks
Sweltering.
and sauna at the same time.
Yeah. It's a good mix. Went out and looked at vehicles on a tarmac on Sunday. When you can walk around and kind of kick tires and stuff like that, so to speak. And of course, we waited it there again until it was the hottest point of the day. Walking around on the tarmac, it's but it was still kind of cool, So when this morning rolled back around again, time to return to work, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this. Let's rock and roll. Let's do it. And so I had 2 really great nights of sleep back to back. Thanks in part perhaps to a new ice pack that I got. It's like huge. Thing's immense. Had it wrapped around my shoulder, and it's weighted sort of. It's got a weight to it. I mean, it's like, I don't know, there's some sort of swaddling thing that hospitals do where they put weighted blankets or whatever. But this felt like an ice cold weighted blanket. But in whatever case, when I woke up the next morning and hadn't moved from the spot where I put it on or gotten up or anything, which is kind of unusual, and also kind of good. So I think that's it.
Okay. Cool. All right, Kate, you're up.
Sorry. I have two cats here today that both want my undivided attention. You're okay, baby. I'm not sure what's up with that, but they love to come in here, though. Eventually they'll go to sleep. They go to sleep in here when we're doing this, and then I think they will. We had a really, let's see, we're kind of catching up from Shirley being gone and then getting back and being really tired, but she's leaving again next Tuesday to be for a few days. So it's almost like, wait, is she back? Wait, is she leaving? Wait, which flight is that? We're kind of in this in between kind of funny place, and we're trying to figure out how to get a bunch of stuff scheduled because she'll be going back to Connecticut in November to babysit for a week. So we've been juggling a bunch of stuff, trying to get the people that are going to come do stuff at our house. And we need to get the summer people here to spray for the spiders because they're starting to come in. And then we got the big wedding shower coming up and the wedding coming up, So today we actually ran errands for 3 hours this morning, just trying to get caught up with the stuff that we needed to get caught up with. And I've got a bunch of stuff still to do tonight. I love life being so hysterical. So I've been chomping at the bit for the wedding shower invitations to get here so I can get them in the mail because we got a late start on this. So they were supposed to come Saturday and the thank you notes are supposed to come Monday. Well, the thank you notes came Saturday and it looks like the invitations are lost in the mail. So, because I've looked everywhere, and they were supposed to go from UPS in Kansas City, Missouri to USPS, but USPS never got them. That was supposed to happen on the 31st. So I called Zazzle today. I know they have excellent customer service, and they're like, "We will make you another set, and we will get them to you by Saturday." I'm like, "Thank you." Well, I just got a ding, and I think that they're coming tomorrow. But the package we were supposed to get, not the new ones, the old ones.
Oh, jeez.
We were supposed to get a package in the mail today and it never came. So it's out somewhere. There's just all these little crazy things that aren't really important. And like, I have to do like pivot. I have to remind myself all the time, this is not important. I'm sitting here with my pen poised and my addresses, ready to address them all and run to the post office. And I'm like, this is not important. This is not important. Just remember, this is not important. So tomorrow I have a doctor's appointment with a new doctor at a new place. So today we went to try and find it because now I got to do my new insurance and my Medicare and all those things. And I'm trying to find an asthma inhaler that's generic because they cost so much money. So I've been messing around with that, and everything is just kind of up in the air at the moment. So I'm just going to show up tomorrow. We hope we found the right door. And usually I will show up with the recommended asthma inhaler printout. Here, can't find one that I think that's good. I did get the paper printed out so that if the power goes out again, the electric company will turn us on more quickly rather than waiting. So that's ready, but we're just juggling a lot of stuff. We're trying to get Shirley ready to go to this. She's given the keynote at this thing in Phoenix, and there's a lot of stuff going on with May and Megan, and there's just a lot going on. So I'm going to keep doing a Linda and be like, okay, whoops, pivot. It's all good. And you know what the funny thing is? I laugh at myself. I'm like, tomorrow afternoon at 12 o'clock, a whole shitload of this is going to be over with. So, what are you doing? Okay, it's all good. And I don't like, I'm not generally paranoid. And so then but my brain, when I'm this busy and this kind of like there's so much going on, can go kind of funky. And so I had gotten this cancer insurance when I got my insurance that goes with my retirement stuff, because I have multiple people in my family that have had cancer, and both my parents died of cancer. One sister, one brother, one niece already. So you can get this cancer insurance for not a lot of money that if you get a cancer diagnosis will pay you immediately $20,000 to cover the excess stuff. So I thought, well, that would be worth it because we don't have a great history here. Well, then I read the fine print, and it doesn't count for the first 30 days. was in effect August 1st. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to the new doctor until September 1st. Because what if they take a blood test of something and go, we need to watch that. And then 5 years later go, see, we've been watching this for 5 years. And that doesn't, then it would cancel that. You know how that is. So now I'm like, just knock it off. Because whatever will be, and it's all good. But this is one of those days where today in Illinois, it's very heavy. The humidity, like you could take it with a spoon and eat it, and it would be like thick and sitting on a spoon, but it's not hot enough to kick on the air conditioning or cold enough to kick on the heat, both of which serve to take the humidity out of the air. So I'm kind of chuckling because my asthma's bad, my lymphedema is swollen, everything's swollen. I'm like, I'm going to go to the doctor tomorrow and look like I'm really in bad shape and say, just wait 2 days, I'll be a lot better. It's just kind of funny. I'm just laughing because all these things kind of come at once and then they go away, and tomorrow and I'll feel a lot better. Irregardless, I'll probably have the invitations in my hand. And how important is that? But I can make it important. So I'm a goof. Anyway, we're good.
Yeah. Awesome. Lots going on. So for me, I'm good. We had a quiet weekend. Rachel came out Saturday and we spent Sunday afternoon with Rose and George on the water. And yesterday it was thunderstormy all day. So we never did anything, which was great. But we did lots of those little things that take us both, that take longer than you think. Just a few kind of things. And so, but it all feels good. Everything's moving. I feel kind of like I feel like I'm emerging from I don't know if I was in a funk, but I feel like I'm like re-solidifying, like in my cells almost somehow. So that feels kind of curiously good. It's like, oh, there I am. I didn't really know I was gone, except for I kind of knew I was gone, but I got over disappointment of Amy not coming for the weekend, and now she hasn't been here in a year now, so I have my feelings about that, but I worked through that pretty well and talked to Tyler and can't wait to see those babies, and that's coming soon. And yeah, it's good. It's good today. Phew, it's nice. So let's see. Oh, Solera, some of you, Solera leads the global consciousness. I just admire her so much. She's doing, I think it's an open call. I'm going to invite you all if you want, on Thursday morning at 11 Central Time. And it's something about achieving greatness again, but she periodically she does an open call and just invites anybody who wants to come. And I think it is. But anyway, if you want an invitation, Thursday at 11 a.m. for an hour, because it's all about joy and innovation, innovative. It just felt like it's really good. I didn't even know about it. And she's like, I remember there's a Thursday call. I'm like, wait, what?
And so, what's the area code? I mean, time zone.
Well, 11 Central.
11 Central. Great.
Yeah, 11 for all of us. Yeah. Which is at 5 p.m. UK, but she also has a 10 a.m. UK if you want one in the middle of the early morning hours. But I'm not interested in those. But Steve, you might be. I don't even know what time that is. She's
4 a.m.
Yeah, no thanks. Not for me.
Yeah.
Not for me. One of the things we were talking about in that group this morning was something that I think was being called something like symphonic harmonic or something like that. But there's like this, like we are coming in our greatness, right? In our quantum leapness, that there's like a harmony. And one of the gals was like, I was seeing the sound of. I was seeing the sound of the flower opening. I was seeing the sound of the conductor. I was seeing the sound of a rainbow because we were doing each person. And it was just like this whole sort of deeper connection with that group. You know, we always try to stay connected in this group, but that deeper connection that we're all bringing this piece of this synchronized harmonic that's being birthed in the world. So anyway, that's all I have to share about that, because I don't remember anything else, but it was really good. You got off that call feeling, oh, I feel good, which is always also really nice. So for us today, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Where do you, like, if what we could do today was something besides what we normally do, but since we don't have any words for what we normally do anyway, something, what's moving? Like how do we want to play with all is well and it is done? You're still muted, Nancy.
I was trying to see if the words would come, and I was trying to feel them. And I think for me, I'm just looking at, and I think this is a sign that the healing has gotten to a certain physical healings to a certain point, where it's like, what is the next expression of what? It's not even like what I am to. I don't mean what I am to be. It's honestly, what am I to do or give next? I'm kind of there, and it's not technically purpose, although it is, but it's like, it's different.
I get that. I get different. That's what I feel, different. It's different.
It's different. Yeah.
Yeah. So how about something along the lines of just simply revealing our next glimmer of our own greatness, or something like that? Yeah, better write that down. I like the word glimmer. Have you seen that Facebook thing on glimmer?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. All right. The other thing I'm still playing in, I think I mentioned this before, but I've been really using it in my meditations and then throughout the day too, is that thing about that says when a person, says woman, but when a person sits with her hands in her lap and knows herself to be a container so vast that it contains the entire universe, she will have no problems or worries. And I've been really landing into playing with what's it feel like to remember that I am that container that is so, it's like, for me, it's the next level beyond all the spaciousness that I've done. That I am and we are the container that is so vast that it contains the entire universe. And there's something in that for me that softens me even more so. Like softens and empowers both at the same time. But anything I'm worrying about or fretting about, or I need to figure this out, or well, how am I going to, all that stuff disappears to just being. So just throw that out there if you want to play with spaciousness.
Yeah.
All right. So what would you like to play with today? What programs? I'm going to pull this up here. Gems, always your choice. All Healy, Australian bush flowers, Bach flowers, all the different individual programs. The chakra program is a choice. Oops, the meridians. Where'd the meridians go? I haven't seen those for a long time. Let's see if they're
I
still
don't know
there.
if nobody else is speaking up, but the Australian flowers sort of rang true for me.
All right, you want to try those?
Anybody else?
These are always interesting because they always come up with, like, I can never say them. I'm like, okay, the first one looks like this. All right, so all of that, like get a glimmer of our next, whatever that is, knowing all is well and it is done, and also being that container. All right, all is well, it is done as we quantum shift, continue to quantum shift ourselves and our world in miraculous outcomes. It's going to take a while to analyze, so just feel all is well. It is done. So we open to receive, to glimpse a glimmer of our next. Be that a quality, an idea, a way of being, a thought. All right, so the first one that comes up is, oh geez, kangaroo paw, or something different than that. I'll send the PDF of these so you don't even have to try and write them down, but I'll also see if I can you see that word? Okay, it says sensitivity, tact, friendliness, attention, sensitivity, second time, and kindness. Next one is flannel flower. Softness and sensitivity to touch allows especially men to develop tenderness, softness, and sensitivity to touch, to trust and express in verbal form their inner feelings. Helps men and women to feel joy and pleasure from physical contact. Next one is green essence, and all it says is general cleansing. Next one is Monga Waratah. Helps to find your own strengths in case of exhaustion and the feeling of being in need. And the last one is autumn leaves. Supports the transition from the earthly to the spiritual level. Comments? No, just a thumbs up. Okay, cool. All right, let's run them and see what we feel. Nancy, do you want to say something? No? Okay. All right, so we're going to run these frequencies for the 6 minutes. All is well, it is done. And we simply open to receive. Take a breath in. Notice what you noticed, what you're experiencing. When you're ready, open your eyes. How was that? Steve,
Didn't seem to find my mouse pointer, so finally got it. Anyway, I don't have much to report tonight. I was down deep, not really connecting with anything that I know of. I mean, just there.
cool.
Not sure why, because normally I have, vignettes that have come marching through or whatever, and today just like down deep and nada.
Yeah. How's it feel?
Or just okay.
Yeah. I kind of personally like when I just go out like that, just down and nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, well, okay, different in different. So what does that mean? Which is great. Kind of the unknown, we're working with the unknown, and that wherever this space was that I went to was not easily defined or recognized. So, we left on some of the words like it was a general cleansing and find your own strength, and about sensitivity and kindness and all of this. And I had, and the saying that you said right before, the one you love, where we are the vast container for the entire universe. I probably shortened that a whole lot. I've had trouble with that. I read it and I go, I have a moment. I always hate it when I don't get it. I hate that. I don't feel that. Well, I was in this whatever this unknown space was, and all of a sudden it's like, and you had said before that to be in the container, and I looked around, I go, oh, so we're like all containers, because that's kind of how we operate. We have to get a grasp on it, for lack of a better word, without clutching. That's who we all are, and all these different groups and people are doing it, and everybody is this container within this vast container. And it was like, oh, we're just holding our part of the vastness. It's not like we're responsible for it, but it was ours. It was ours to be or to do. And here I'm looking for what to be and do, and to hold that. And if at some point, all the container imagery, and I didn't have a hard container, and mine was, of all the sort of things, it was very translucent and very fluid feeling. So it was almost like an energy container. And maybe that's what they were always talking about. And I just didn't get it. So that felt, it was like, oh, oh. And then I had a memory of a part of a conversation that Holly, when we had it this morning, and we were talking about how different ones of her friends are much more assertive, and that Holly is says this, she's so growing, learns to say the same thing, but says it totally with a more kindness. And the story she told me was she'd worked in a library with this close friend, and the close friend, she said, you're the good cop, I'm the bad cop. And the idea with kids that you're going to navigate them through their library system, right? But the woman who is the keeper of that container believes that you don't help them, you teach them to fish. So that, you know, she uses that, you teach them to fish. And Holly this morning says, Mom, I'm the one that says, well, until they know how to fish and where to fish, how about if you just give them some fish? How about that part where they can't go do me unless they have some sustenance? So she said, and all of a sudden she goes, that's who I am. I give them a little bit of the fish, not to stop them from their growth or whatever, but sometimes you just got to have a little fish. And she said, that's what I do. And I was just reflecting on that clarity, and when I had something come through, and that's triggered me since this morning, that there's something ahead, and my daughter and I are very different, but there's something ahead that we're supposed to do together. And that came up in here. No clue what it is, but I felt that. So this is very rich in its nothingness. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Very cool. Okay.
I was really there was so much softness in those descriptions, and like the flannel, you know, like on a cold, which some of you don't deal with a lot, but on a very cold winter night, a little flannel, it's warm, is really nice and soft, and it kind of, I went this place where my being was the softness. So like the winds of the world were, you know, rushing all around and coming in, but I could receive them softly and kind of turn them back out softly rather than reacting to them and having them push even further back or colder or harder. Like maybe my container is just simply to be the softness. And that then that can spread out to everything that it touches. That's kind of how I felt.
Very cool. It's like the transmuter of the storm to the calm winds, to the breeze, or something like that. Cool. All right, Linda.
I have a little bit of anyway, I wrote some notes while you were talking because I was afraid I was going to lose track because it's all this, it's pretty etheric. But I did have this strong sense of the thing about I'm a being. I'm a being. I'm a being of light. I'm a being of love. I'm I've been working with this affirmation about being empowered and transformed. So I was like, something about the thing about being light and loving, and that the loving is part of the fabric of the universe. That's the way the Sufis describe the love as the being woven as the fabric creates the universe. So that's what I was sort of experiencing myself in different ways of just being able to be part of everything without actually being it. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's all I wrote down. That, so I did get that it was that sense of peacefulness. There was a happiness inside that I haven't felt for a while about being the servant of God. That's the best way I'm going to say it. You know, just being me is being what I'm supposed to be. and just allowing that, accepting myself, and embracing it is all part of who I'm learning to be.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. I'm not sure how many words I have either. It kind of was taken out, but I was also kind of being like, I don't know that would be formed, but it feels like something feels different. And that different may be in, moving forward, my work or my message or my audience or something, but it feels like it's being crafted. Like, I always wanted to like get it, receive it, like, oh, it's going to be that, but it feels more like I'm being molded somehow internally through all of this work, and that and I think what happened this morning and really over the last couple of weeks is I settled into like being okay with that instead of needing it to be something else. I don't know what else, but different, right? So there's that allowing, but also the softness continues, but it's almost like the softer I get, the more empowered I become. It feels like this really bizarre paradox right now. But that was also alive in that nothingness. That was so rich and full. Yeah, curious. All right, let's do 1 more minute, and then a quick, just how that tops off, the cherry on the sundae or whatever we do, and go from there. All right, here we go. Minute 20, starting now. Take a breath. Notice what that feels like, how you experienced it, what you noticed. When you're ready, open your eyes. How was that one?
Connection. Like being the cable that you plug a cable TV, the TV connector into, and
Cool.
no signal before that, now full signal. All 500 channels. Right.
Cool. I think I felt that as you said it, like, oh, there it is. Oh,
Well, I started to say something. Now I don't remember what it was going to be.
Oh.
I'm going to hold off and see if it comes back.
Okay.
For me, it was just more softness, almost like oh, I got my like melting into softness.
Mm.
Just without any struggle. I mean, or like any fighting against it, just like this melt that was so gentle and like, how when candle wax melts, it can kind of form into whatever it needs to.
Mm.
That's kind of how it felt.
Cool.
Okay. I resonate with both of those. And also that, so for me, there's a peacefulness and a happiness about just being able to not try to be anywhere. It's like just being, and there wasn't anything that I have to do to just be. It's just be the way I am. And so that acceptance, the thing about acceptance came in, and acceptance, and you cooperate with what you're accepting, and then with the cooperation then comes understanding, and with understanding comes enthusiasm, and so then I got all this yay,
Cool.
I felt like Linda for a second. If I'd spoken too soon, the initial experience felt like, okay, I've never done speed dating, but you know how you've gone to networking things and you do it's almost like you move. It felt like things were coming that fast at the table, and without any particular form that goes, rah, wasn't that. But it was like this whole array, and all I could think was, oh my God, it's like speed dating or speed, whatever that is. It was in nanoseconds. And then when Linda said she lost it, and it was just gone, I go, well, okay, that was entertaining, wasn't it? But what I came out feeling, and I'm losing more words than I'm keeping, so it's not to be wordified yet. Is that a word? But I feel like some of what we did this weekend, we checked alternate ways to live of what we could do. And right now, that is just coming through so strong for me that 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 I can't get stuck on what do I want to give and be, because that's going to come, because I just think there's a radical for me and for us shift coming of the way we even allow creation to happen within us. Can I say that? And I haven't quite felt this enlivened during this healing process, because it's a lot to keep up with healing. But the softness, and there was joy and pleasure, and find my own strength. It's all when you first said this grouping, I kind of went, okay, well that ought to be interesting. I didn't have a pull to it, and it's yielded the unexpected.
We'll call that miraculous. And for me, that time I kind of started, I just threw that cherry on the top, and then what the whole visual was, the cherry became the core, which became, it was like this infinity kind of up and down, like this, oh yeah, that's the sweet cherry, but then all of a sudden that became the core of which the whole Sunday was built, and then that became, and then there was another, and it just kept, it was kind of like this never ending, and I just got lost in that, and there was nothing really more than the flow of energy there. So
it feels like exactly what I needed, and I would have had no idea if you'd tried to define it before.
well, and that's why we do this the way we do it, I guess, right?
Me too, exactly. That's what I was going to say. This was exactly what I needed. You know, it's like, wow, that was exactly what I needed.
Wow, very cool.
I'm going to walk out and be a different person now. My wife will thank you.
Uh-huh. As will my husband. All right, next week we're not meeting. So 2 weeks from today.
And 2 weeks from today, will you be in Texas?
I will be in Texas.
And you'll still be able to meet?
I am because I want to.
Okay. Okay.
And I might need a break from babies, or if I happen to be at their house, I might bring them on live.
Uh-huh.
Or I have to call my Airbnb there and go, can I be in your back room today?
Oh, good. My housekeeper comes next week, and I'll say to her, okay, you can change those sheets now. Get that room ready.
Yeah, so I don't know yet. I need to I keep trying to ask Tao and Tyler if they want me to be there the whole week or if I can have a night off, and neither of them will answer me yet. So I'm gonna have to practice my communication skills and either make a decision and say this is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I probably have to do that, but
They may not know.
they don't have a clue.
Mm-mm.
They don't have a clue. Yeah, but it's all good. All right, love you guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Love you, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah, thanks.
So this
Bye.
recording will be on the page. It'll just look different.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to play with it. I'm gonna post.
Okay.
I think that the video recording will be the same, but then I think I can also do a transcript recording, like a
Okay.
printout of all the words we used.
Well, we'll just see what happens.
We'll just see what happens. I'll probably
Okay.
put that in a separate post other than our recording post just to keep it good.
Thank you.
We'll see what it looks
Bye,
like.
y'all. See
All
ya.
right.
I don't.
See ya.